So this is a simple ticket, but in the context of financial services, this is quite complex because there is a lot of compliance, a lot of approvals, and so on and so forth. So what we'll try to do is help the agent do this more reliably and faster. So in an ideal world, what we want to do within Zendesk is Elizabeth will send her request. Then if everything works out, Auto Assist is part of Agent Copilot, as you know, will suggest right away how this can be resolved. What are the right actions, all of the right things that the agent normally would need to do on their own. Now, this will trigger the workflow from Zendesk automatically, from NextMatter automatically in Zendesk. And all of the actions then will kickstart so that the whole resolution is orchestrated. So that would mean that Elizabeth has to receive a safe space for her to upload her documents. So somewhere that it's compliant and everything is extremely easy for her to do, and she has a great customer experience. Then a completely different task has to happen, which is the compliance team, a team completely outside of customer service and customer success, has to approve documents. So the compliance team needs to find the right documents with all the data that Elizabeth put in all her documents and so on. Then once that's done, all of the accounts need to be updated with all of the information that were sent from Elizabeth and the compliance team on the accounts. And hopefully the ticket will be automatically closed. So we will try to enable the agent through the Auto Assist to complete something very, very complex that otherwise they would need a lot of instructions, how to do it, a lot of access to other teams and systems, and also something that would take them a lot of time to try to do it automatically with Copilot and NextMatter. Okay, I stopped talking, passing the mic to Thomas and Michael, and let's see if we're gonna manage to make it or not. I'm excited.
Michael and I prepped a little bit of stuff in advance just to figure out if it works, but now we're going to see if our preparation actually works in Zendesk. I'm really curious where we are. Yeah, I think, where do we start, Michael?
Let's start with the customer journey, I would say. Let's start with Lizzie. Elizabeth, she got married and she wrote an email to her bank's support email address and automatically got a confirmation receipt. So that's all that Lizzie sees. On our end, let's now switch into Zendesk and see the agent side of things, because that's where the magic with Copilot happens and Auto Assist. Perhaps, Thomas, you can explain a bit what we see here.
Yeah, so, well, the first email is basically that we just saw was basically just a confirmation message from Zendesk saying, hey, we got your email. We're all used to that in Zendesk. Ticket comes into Agent Home. I've set up omni-channel routing and triage to basically say if a ticket comes in for an ID change, that should go to an available agent, which in this case seems to be you, Michael, and it shows up in their Agent Home so that the agent can immediately jump in. And nice thing, I think our Copilot is also working now because we see the suggestions review tag. So that means that something got picked up by AI and Copilot has stuff to do. And if you now click through, we see what I kind of hope to see. So it's a good thing. So we got the message, we got the confirmation email to the customer, and then Auto Assist basically picked up that this is like a, hey, we need a name change intent. So that's what we see on the left. So that means that all the flows that we have set up for changing the names, like Petro mentioned, should get activated now. So that's a good thing. And then, on the right, of course, we see NextMatter, the integration, which currently doesn't have anything because we haven't run our script yet. But it seems that the intent mapping at least works. The other thing I did is if you go into the actions in the Help Center, in the Zendesk setup. So basically, there's two things you can do. I built an action for NextMatter, but we'll go into that in a second. But that will make it possible to push data to NextMatter and start the entire flow that we just shown. And on the other side, I have the procedure that I wrote. Or to be honest, used a bit of ChatGPT, but I wrote a procedure that basically says if we need to handle a name request, so that's what links the Lizzie going, hey, I want to change my name to the actual process that we should follow. And then our added a few steps, basically saying, first check if she has the account number, so that if a customer just says, I want to change my name without any context, that Copilot would be able to ask that information on behalf of the agent. And then if we have that information, well, we want to kick off that flow that Petro has shown. So we want to activate the flow, the workflow in NextMatter. And we're not going to do that manually, use an action for that. And now we're basically going to collect, or we tell the Copilot to say, hey, we need a name, email, account number, all that relevant info, and push that to you. Anything you want to add here, or is this just for the demo like a good procedure, or should we add something?
I think for NextMatter is able to automatically process all of that data. And for the forms that Elizabeth has to fill out and provide her documentation, will already automatically populate all of the data that she has provided in the email, which is really, really great because it cuts down on clutter, it cuts down on unnecessary data input, taking in all the unstructured information from the email, running it through Copilot, and pushing it into NextMatter into a structured way is really magical. So pay attention to that when we have a look at it.
Okay, good. So Copilot will look for that information. And if, for example, Lizzie would email with an email we don't know or a name that's different, basically Copilot will check with her like, hey, I don't have a name for you. And if she provides it all, then our action will become valid. If you go quickly back to the ticket,
yeah,
you'll see that it has an action saying NextMatter name change request. So if the agent now presses approve, what will happen is basically we'll call an underlying API, and that API will call NextMatter to do, well, the nice things that you do with your tool. So it will create workflow, and I suppose Michael will show me how you set it up in a second. But it's nice to see that, like, with one click, our action is able to basically start the entire process for the agent. So that's nice to see. We'll go into details, I think, on how it works in a second. But I first want to check with you whether I set up the action correctly, because it seems like it works, but maybe you should go over the API work a bit to see if I got all the variables right. So if you go
let's check, yeah.
Yeah. Can you first go to the actions for this?
Yes, let's go into the actions.
Yeah. I got a few things I want to check really quickly. So I have the action, just call it NextMatter name change request. So it's very clear that we're calling, well, your platform. The description, we might need to tweak this if this is production, because this is basically how we recognize what the customer is talking about. So it might, well, this is now very explicitly named just for the demo that we built to work. But in real life, we might want to tweak this a bit to have a little more extra context, so we know you can really intercept the intents. Then, as you mentioned, you needed the ID, the name, the email, and the account number. So I created a few inputs there that basically says if Copilot detects something that looks like an email, we'll store that as a variable. And then within the API configuration, I pass it to you. So if you scroll down, you see, so I got the parameters. I might want to add like another one, like if the customer has multiple accounts, we might want to say which account number it is or something, but for now, I think it works. And I basically call your API that you provided, the endpoint. Well, since it's a demo, we don't do authentication for now. And then what we could, and then we have the body where we basically pass all the variables that Copilot picks up, sends it to you. And then as a result, you told me you would pass back a little bit of information, I think. So if you would scroll down, we would also see the output. For now, since I think workflow manages the entire communication, NextMatter workflow manages the entire communication, I don't think I really need outputs now.
Yeah.
Maybe if you want to send out a confirmation message to the customer, like, hey, we started process 1, 2, 3 for you, or the status is starting, we could add outputs there that we could send back to the customer. But for now, for our demo, I think we're good. Any comments or okay? Perfect.
I think that's good.
Okay.
So as you've said, Brett, the NextMatter workflow handles the communication because it knows the ticket ID and then can provide real-time updates. So what you can see here is NextMatter, once it has started, You can both see it here in the sidebar, and also there are internal notes that are created for the agent so that they can see the status of the automation without even needing to go into the sidebar.
Yeah.
And the customer is kept in the loop also with reply messages from the next matter automation itself. And yes, in production, we'll tweak the name, of course. What you can see here is that Elizabeth already has gotten an email asking her to provide her details by clicking on this link here. So from Elizabeth's end, it looks like this. Hi, Elizabeth Jones. Thank you for your request. And please click here to provide your details so we can proceed. And what you can see here is very nicely all the data that Thomas has captured with Copilot within Zendesk are automatically handed over to the form, meaning that Elizabeth does not need to retype her account number. And we also automatically understood that she wants to change her name and even have her maiden name and then later on her new name that she wants to take on. So it's really powerful.
Cool. So I assume, well, we might not want to do it for GDPR reasons, just keep it in this safe form, but we might add like, hey, what's your date of birth in the Copilot procedure? And then if she would type it, we can easily pass it via the API. I'm not going to add it now, but I think that's like an additional step we could take there. If she happens to provide it already, that we just pass it along. But
yes, exactly.
That's nice. I also, sorry, go ahead.
And with this, with this form, because she gets a new credit card or debit card, she can even add customization options on top, which gives it a real personal touch without much effort.
Cool. What's nice in this flow is that if you go back to the email, imagine she would reply back with the link won't load, or she replies back with, hey, I tried to fill in the form, but I kind of want like gold for my card. Is that possible? Then that would just come in here. Conversation would continue, and then the moment she is happy with her answers, she can go back to the form, fill it in. You guys would pick it up, I assume. So
yeah,
nice. Okay,
exactly. So I will go ahead and fill this out on Elizabeth's behalf, so we can have a look how this functions. So let's say she was born here, and I will provide her marriage certificate on the one hand and her passport on the other hand. And she would like to have red, and she's gonna sign. I practiced that signature.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know if the signature will go through compliance.
You know, my parents still sign their credit cards in Chinese because they're like, yeah, there's no way people in Germany would be able to copy that really easily if I do like Chinese cursive handwriting. So
very smart.
Let me take this and close it. Everything's done for Liz. And over here, you can see that Next Matter Automation has written a new internal note, which is the customer has provided their information to verify their identity. We're now waiting for the compliance team to approve.
Cool. What's also nice is since all the updates are like in the timeline, well, Zendesk has a summary feature at top. So it's cool that like if a supervisor or a team lead wants to see, hey, what's going on with this ticket because it's been open for a while, they can just click summary and that would like nicely show the summary there. So that's a cool thing. Also that you get that like interaction feedback there too.
View ticket summary. Let's try that.
Yeah, this is so cool. Like the agent basically has the detail they need, and then the leader just has the gist. They have the quick notes. This is so cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's nice to see that it works. Because in the end, the effort, we've been playing around a little bit before, but the effort to put this up, well, it's more in like a few hours than days. So that's a nice thing to see how quickly we can like have native Zendesk and then Next Matter integrate. It's cool.
Okay. Really cool. Now, let me log in as somebody from the compliance team. So,
Michael, are you curious to see if on the sidebar the things has even started? Like, or
yeah, sure. Let's have a look. What
I'm just so curious to see.
Gather from the sidebar. Yeah, absolutely. Let's open it up. So in the sidebar,
All right.
you can already see like all the automatic steps that have happened, but then also that there's a manual step that's currently ongoing, confirm customer identity, compliance in progress. And what you can see here is that this one is waiting for compliance to review her certificate of marriage and her passport and her signature, which is, I think it's beautiful. They'll review that against their internal database and then say either, yes, it worked, or no, it didn't work, right? So this is something that the agent can directly track. And if Elizabeth were to ask, hey, where does my ticket currently stand, right? What's the current status of it? As an agent, I can directly see the entire end-to-end flow, know what has happened when, and can even go back to verify some of the inputs, for example, from Elizabeth. So as the agent, I can see Elizabeth's answer form already within the context of Zendesk.
Nice.
Which is
Let's go to the compliance team. Now I'm getting more and more excited to see if this will go through all the way to the end.
Yeah, let's see how this happens. So as the compliance team, I will get an email saying that there's a task waiting for me. Let me go ahead and share my screen, this part of my screen. So James' testing account is basically the compliance team lead, and he got a task saying there needs to be a confirmation for Elizabeth's customer identity. Now, when he opens it up, and bear in mind, he's not a customer service agent, so he typically doesn't even have access to Zendesk. He gets this link to Next Matter, where he will go ahead and take over this task as James. And he can then, we see James over here, and he can now review the entire data that Elizabeth has provided, all of it, and say, yes, everything's fine. I would like to approve the personal details change, or alternatively say no, and also provide a reason why he's declining. And this reason will automatically be shared via Zendesk with the customer. So this is built into the flow. So even though James does not have a Zendesk account, he can still, in a limited way, interact with the customer.
That's nice. Because then if, let's say they say it's an expired certificate or the picture isn't clean, if Lizzie would then reply back with, hey, what is actually a valid certificate, then Zendesk regular like Copilot would pick up and suggest help center articles with more information. She does the entire re-upload again, and then hopefully this time we get an approval. So it's cool to see those two can like interact.
Yeah, both working seamlessly together.
Yeah, quite cuts quite a lot of the back and forth between different people, creates kind of like a direct, but also like very controlled communication between the different people.
True.
So James just sent out his OK from the compliance perspective. Will notify the customer of your decision and perform any needed banking system updates automatically. You can now leave the page. So for James, his task is done. He'll just close the window and we'll go back to the agent view. And as the agent, you can also see that confirm customer identity is now completed in the sidebar and that things are done, 100% completed. And hello, your personal details have been updated successfully and the ticket has been already marked as solved.
Which is nice because it just clears out the agent backlog automatically. And then, yeah, since it's solved, imagine that Lizzie replies back with thanks, then yeah, ticket will reopen. If she replies back with, hey, I don't see the name changed in the app yet, an agent can reply back with, hey, it often takes like 24 hours, or please update the app or force quit or something. Cool.
Nice. So this was our demonstration. of the feature, and I'm very, very curious and excited to see what else we can build, because this was the result of a quick hackathon between Thomas and us. And imagine what we could do if we spent like a few days on it, or even weeks, what we can build then.
Yeah, especially if you come with like actual like complex use cases from customers with all the ins and outs. But
I'm actually very keen to see that complexity, because yeah, I agree. Like we can build really complex stuff, but also I'm keen to see how complex that change of name is in the context of financial services and compliance. So, Michael, do you have maybe the actual workflow that was built, just to see kind of like a visual chart of how many things are happening at the same time?
Yes, of course. So I'm now in the Next Matter editor, where we can see how the entire workflow was built. Now, if we go into this editor, you can now see the underlying logic. So on the one hand, we have in the beginning automatic steps to retrieve the Zendesk ticket data, to understand which ticket to reply to, what the customer names is, etc. We'll link the Zendesk ticket to Next Matter and send the verification link to the user. And the way that Next Matter works is it's a no-code interface. It's drag and drop, so it's easy to configure. So for example, this Zendesk step where we send the verification link to Lizzie, it's just as simple as writing an email, basically. You can even create links here, for example, and here you can also reference data that has been passed along from Zendesk, so we know how to address her properly. Everything that Copilot recognized, we can then directly reference in here as well. So lots of settings that you can tweak. It's quite self-explanatory. And if you ever needed to change the form, for example, it's also just a drag and drop feature. So as you can see here, I could drag things along, and if I needed to add a new color option, I can also do that right here, right? And then just insert a new color.
Yeah, so, or even even the actual images of the cards or something like you can. I guess you can make it even more interactive. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Just out of interest for the Zendesk site, I think I saw the ticket statuses there.
Yes.
So, yeah, because I think thinking of as our customers that we work with, like if we're talking SLAs and response times, if we could, for example, say it's on hold until it gets approved, and now we can play around with pending or in progress, so that our SLAs and Zendesk stay in sync. Cool.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm just thinking 2 steps ahead for like actual custom implementations. But
and also, Michael, maybe when the compliance team was basically waiting to approve, and the agent was waiting to see if it's going to be approved. Again, we could play with SLAs there with the compliance team and put the specific time that needs to be handled and reminders, and right?
Yes, definitely.
What I really like here is that each tool kind of stays true to its own. If you just push it as pending to Zendesk, Zendesk can take care of like SLAs, or response time, and reminders, and all that thing. And we don't really need to care about how the Next Matter technical side works. And then you guys can just trust that if you push the right status, Zendesk will handle it. So it's not that we need to set it up in 2 places. It's kind of like each to their own, which I can.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Gotcha.
So here, for example, when we post the internal note, the customer has provided their information to verify the identity. I can, within the same request, also set the ticket status to pending.
Yeah, indeed.
And then so a lot of SLAs get triggered. On our side, we can also send reminders to the compliance team, for example. So if internally within the bank, there are SLAs for non-customer service teams, we can set them here as well. So for example, the compliance team may have 24 hours to action on this request. So we can say actually the deadline is 24 hours after this step, the internal note has been posted, right? And, or actually after the customer has provided their customer identity, so step completion. And then we can add reminders and escalations here as well. So for example, I can go ahead and send a reminder to compliance, basically on the deadline. And if the deadline is passed, I can also not only send it to the compliance team, but also to maybe the team lead or something.
Yeah.
Right. Cool. So quite a lot of customization options. Right?
Which is nice from a customer standpoint, because then the system keeps the ticket going, the status gets updated, so the customer knows, hey, they're still working on it, and it's like it doesn't get stuck on process again. It keeps moving, which is cool.
Yeah. And the agent basically does not need to be on top of this. Like it's
Yeah.
kind of like they just need to keep track of the sidebar and see where it is and what's going on, and
yeah, that's why I was
do escalations themselves.
Yeah, that's why I was wondering for the status, because then that way the agent home just empties up with new tickets instead of like tickets being there that are not under control of the agent, because it's like other teams that need to act.
Yeah, nice. It reduces the mental load for the agent, so they don't need to juggle quite as many things. Cool. Yeah, and depending on what James from the compliance team decides, it either goes into the verified branch or into the declined branch. So if you click declined, it would close the ticket and share the decline reason. If we say it's verified, we'll push an update to the banking system via API and then close the ticket.
Cool.
And I guess then we can just add steps and complexity. And like, let's say that you want to notify that the system was updated with a Slack notification to another team. Like you can just do all sorts of things.
Yep.
Okay.
So go ahead and pull this in directly. It's really easy to configure. So for example, send a message, right? Just pull it in here.
Cool.
It's not set up yet. Okay.
Nice.
What surprises me, go ahead, speaker.
Yeah. No, please, Thomas, go for it.
I was going to say, what surprises me is that if we would have done this like 3-4 months ago before Copilot, we would need to have like a trigger. Agents would need to like copy all the data from the ticket, put it in the sidebar app, which all works just as well as this. But just the fact that it's now like we can push it into one button for an agent that takes the entire, which process is it, which fields do I need to collect, or I need to ask for this from the customer before I can submit. It's like all nicely wrapped up in like, it's actually not a lot of code for the pure integration part, because it's one API endpoint and a procedure that anyone can write.
Yeah,
kinda.
Exactly. It takes basically unstructured ticket data, and Copilot parses it automatically and breaks it down into structured data so that NextMatter can action on it. So it takes a lot of work away from both the agent and NextMatter.
I would challenge this as a last thing. I don't know if you guys are up for it, but maybe we just do the front interface one last time, but we actually send the email right now. I want to change my name, and we just do a really quick run through. Okay, but let's see. Like if we didn't show all the background, okay, how long does it take us? Like to just trigger it and demo this. I don't know if you guys are up for it.
Yeah, just purely like imagine I'm an agent. What's going to happen? Like
yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
So I've got it. Cool. So let me share my screen.
I'm putting the timers on.
Okay. Let's send this out.
Okay. That's the email?
Yep, this is the email. Google always gives a few seconds within which you can recall the email and undo.
Yeah.
So that's why it takes a little bit. Let's see when this actually comes in.
Well, that's the purpose of a real demo. Okay, so we got the confirmation email from Zendesk.
Nice. Open ticket 47 for you. Let's see when this one shows up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, there it is. So I got assigned.
Got assigned. We go into here.
Name request gets picked up. So that's good.
Yep. By the way, it's now possible. It's very, very new. I think it's just 3 days ago to edit the Copilot actions that are being suggested.
quite useful if you have like multiple things you want to fire at once, and one of them is like not eligible, or like the soft, which is clearly not what we wanted.
Yeah.
Nice.
So now you approved the change name workflow that was suggested from
Yeah, indeed.
Correct, indeed. And then now it says has been started successfully.
There we
Things
go.
have been kicked off. Elizabeth gets it, gets the email. She opens it up. Date of birth.
This time we're on the metro now on her mobile, trying to put
Yeah,
all
I'm
of this
just
info
I'm
in.
just curious if the signature will look the same this time.
Okay, now you said, let's see how it looks like on the phone and if the signature looks the same. So here
I
we
love it.
resize it, right? That works. And then here, name change certificate, passport. This time she wants to have something green, and let's say if I can still sign. There we go.
Close enough.
Close enough.
Thanks for submitting.
Great.
All good. So back to full size, has provided their information to verify their identity. Now let's see. We need James now in the loop.
Yeah. Let's keep this one open so we just see how it looks for an agent immediately.
Yeah, exactly. So James is logging in. That's a separate browser window, by the way, so I will need to present that. Here we go.
The agent is now solving 3 other tickets at the same time.
Yep.
Yeah. Basically, it should be pending, so it's out of sight.
Approved personal details. James is done. And going back to Zendesk. Personal details have been updated successfully, ticket solved.
Yeah, and it's solved already, I see at the top. So.
And you can see also on the sidebar now all the steps if you open it, right? So you'll be able to see who did what, when they did it, and all of the information.
Yep. You got
audits and whatever.
An audit log, basically, when the banking system was changed, when James provided his approval, when Elizabeth verified her identity, all of that has green check marks now.
And all that with one click from the agent.
Yeah, crazy. And then let's see what the ticket summary says, by the way.
Yeah. And if everybody's on top of like their devices, like they'll take them around 3 minutes. That's how much it took us. Yeah. But I'm so curious to see in real life how long it will happen.
Yeah, wow, that worked.
That's like exactly what happened. So
that's so cool. Nice. Well done. I think that was a success.
Yeah.
Amazing, cool. Looking forward to see what other complex stuff we can make and demo, and I'm also looking forward to suggest this to customers and tell them to start solving.
Yeah, exactly. Cool work. Fun.
Nice, cool. That's what we wanted to show. First try and then show. And then I think we'd love to get some requests from you. What do you want us to build? Like we'll take the challenge, build it, and then send it to you. So either you are a Zendesk account executive seeing this, you've got a case that you're thinking that you want to suggest to a customer, send it to us. Whether you are Team Premium Plus, you have a customer, you're trying to create more efficiency, Thomas is there. You can do all of this. And whether you are a NextMatter customer using Zendesk, trying to integrate those two in the best possible interface where your agents work in Zendesk, let us know and we can build that. And if you have more complexity, you can reach out to Thomas, who can also help you with NextMatter and Zendesk. Michael is also there to help. So yeah, would love just to get the challenge, build, and see if we can resolve tickets way more reliably and more efficiently.